Imagine doubling your income, whether that's through rent-to-rent or Airbnb landlord partnerships. I'm sure you wouldn't care either way, but here's the catch. One model gives you full control but full responsibility, and the other one lets you build a business with no rent, no deposit, and no furniture cost, but you will share control with landlord. And today, I'm breaking down both models, rent-to-rent and Airbnb partnerships. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly which one's right for you based on your time, money, and mindset. But before we get into all of that, don't forget to like this video if you get value from it, and be sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so click that subscribe button right now, like right now. It's not only gonna help us get there, but it will also notify you every time we drop more valuable videos. So now let's start with rent to rent. In simple terms, you rent a property from a landlord for a fixed monthly fee. Then you list that property on platforms like Airbnb and Booking.com, where people will pay you on a nightly price for it. So they pay you on a night by night basis. If you picked a good location, you can make up to 3 times more than you would from just renting that property to a tenant. And because you've already rented it from the landlord, you get to keep the difference. It sounds smart, right? But here's what you're responsible for: paying rent every single month, handling maintenance and repairs, fully furnishing the property up front, and covering all utility bills and the council tax. So while the returns can be great, the risks are all yours. If the bookings don't come in or something breaks, you are still paying that rent, and that's where a lot of beginners really get stuck. Now let's talk about the Airbnb landlord partnerships. This model flips rent to rent on its head. Instead of renting the property, you partner with the landlord and you manage their property on Airbnb for them. So here's how it works. The landlord keeps ownership, you handle the guest side of things, the listings, the bookings, guest communications, and then you take a percentage of the revenue for doing that, usually 15 to 25%. No rent, no deposit, no furniture cost, because the landlord will take care of all of that. So your biggest investment here, your knowledge and your skills. So what's the real difference? Let's do a quick head-to-head breakdown. So starting with the cost, you got upfront cost for rent to rent, which is quite high. It's between 4 to 8K per deal. And for the landlord partnerships, it's low. It's basically nothing. The risk level, again, rent to rent is high because of the upfront cost, and the landlord partnerships is of course really low. Profits, rent to rent is higher because you get to keep all profits to yourself, and the landlord partnership is lower. Monthly overheads with rent to rent, you have the fixed rent and the bills to pay every single month. With the landlord partnership, you get none of that. And then the scaling potential, rent to rent is moderate because you can scale, but you have to wait months to get your initial investment back before you can then go again. While with the landlord partnership, scaling potential is really high because there is no financial barrier to entry. You can just take on properties when they come. So which one's better? It depends on you. If you've got money to invest, you don't mind taking on risk, and you want full control, then rent to rent might work for you. But if you're starting with very little capital and you want to build a lean, low risk business, then the Airbnb partnerships is a complete no-brainer for you. Whichever path you choose, there are going to be challenges. So let's talk about that for a second. Number one, the unexpected cost with rent to rent. You have to pay for things when they break. There is no getting around that. So you got to put a safety net in place every single month. So the solution is really to build that safety fund, meaning every single month, you don't just collect your money and then go and spend it all. You always have to put something aside for a rainy day. Just always assume something will go wrong, because it will, and then you'll be fine. The next challenge is the fear of negotiation. Like, most people avoid talking to landlords because they feel unqualified. And the reality is that every single person who has had success in Airbnb was once unqualified, and they still made it. The solution is getting educated, have a solid pitch in place, practice your pitch consistently, get feedback from other people, and just remember, landlords are people too. If they can see your hunger, they will give you a chance. It will then be up to you to prove them right. And then finally, time management. If you've got a full-time job, this can seem overwhelming, but here's the truth. 90% of everyone that I've ever worked with has been in full-time work, and they've been able to still build a business. You can build a business that will replace your full-time income in the next 6 to 12 months by just investing a few hours a week. It's not about how much time that you've actually got, but it's what you do with the time that you have. That's the most important thing. So block out 30 to 60 minutes every single day for business activity, and just make sure you are productive during that time. But here's why it's all going to be worth it. With the rent-to-rent strategy, whether it's rent-to-rent or the Airbnb partnerships, you can create consistent cash flow, replace your 9 to 5 income, build a business that works for your lifestyle, and the best part is you don't need to be rich. You just need to be strategic. So here's the bottom line. There's no right or wrong model, but there is a right model for you. And if you want speed, full control, and are happy to take on more risk, then look into rent-to-rent. If you want scalability, you want low cost, and to build with leverage, then the Airbnb landlord partnerships are the way forward for you. Whatever you choose, start small, stay consistent, and take action. And if you want my 30-day Airbnb launch plan along with my proven scripts, then just click the link in the description. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and comment below which model are you leaning towards. I'll see you on the inside.